Matt was a little surprised at what we gave up to get this guy. But Isaac TeSlaa, I mean, 2 third-round picks to move up and get him. Not the highest rated wide receiver by any stretch, but does giving that much up for TeSlaa kind of put some writing on the wall for JMO? Like, I don't know if I'm jumping too far ahead and kind of jumping to conclusions, but I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's tough, right? Like that is it's a lot to pay. Like it's now become a regular feature of a Brad Holmes draft that there's one of these heat checks where it's just like, what? You did what? And you know, some of them have worked out. Obviously, the entire 2023 draft when they go out and get Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean, they just target all of these low priority positions according to analysts, and knock it out of the park. But then, like last year, they go and draft Giovanni Manu from British Columbia, and everyone's like, oh, "You what? Then in the 4th?" And okay, sure. And now it's TeSlaa, and I'm generally not a fan of trading up. I'm certainly not a fan of spending as much as they did to jump whatever it was, 32 spots, I think, from the compensatory picks in the 3rd round to the top of the 3rd round. And especially for a player who's very much developmental, a player who's probably not going to play a ton of his rookie season, but they clearly see a developmental path for him that makes sense. And I'm not saying it necessarily means the writing's on the wall with JMO, because they have different skill sets. I think they're probably going to play slightly different positions and run different routes for the Lions, but they clearly expect this guy to be a solid contributor in one way or another. And I don't know. I again, like, to me, when you're doing this high wire act that Brad Holmes now has to do, where he can't miss when it comes to like the day 1 and the day 2 picks, this is a very big swing, and it's the one that makes me the most nervous, because if there's one thing we know about Brad Holmes is that he's generally pretty good in the middle of the rounds. He's generally pretty good when he has more bolts in his chamber, and so it's not just a matter of fact that you're taking a big swing on a developmental guy, but you're also taking away picks from next year that could help this team just continue to load with young rookie deal guys to offset the Aiden Hutchinsons, to offset the Jameson Williams, if that's where you want to go. Like, if you were going to build this team for the long term, I think you would want to have as many young rookie deal guys on the roster as you possibly can. Now, that's hard to do when you're a really talented team, right? Like, if this team would have drafted 12 guys this year, half of them would have been cut, right? There's just not enough room on the roster. So I understand it's a balancing act there, but TeSlaa, for me, that was a little bit too risky for me.
That was my issue with the trade. We were talking about a little bit before we started recording, and like, I haven't watched a ton of Isaac TeSlaa film. Big dude, run fast. Brad Holmes can evaluate talent way more than I ever could. But when your roster is getting more and more expensive, and you paid Aline McNeil, Goff's on a big deal, Amon-Ra's on a big deal, Panay, the list goes on and on. They just paid Kirby Joseph. Those, like you mentioned, day 2 picks, 4th round picks, they become like critical in filling out parts of your roster, whether it be special teams, whether it just be, dudes, depth pieces, stuff like that. It's just like your margin for error just gets so thin if your top of your roster is really expensive and you're trading away picks. It's kind of like what fucked over the Dolphins. Like, the Dolphins are at a place now where their roster is expensive, it's old, they took a bunch of shots, they traded up for a bunch of dudes, they don't have a lot of draft capital, so they're just like, they have no depth. Like, anyone goes down. So that was kind of my criticism of the trade for TeSlaa. He could be a great player, it could work out, but next year, Hutch is going to get paid, like we said. Who knows what's going to happen with JMO? Like that, you're just walking a really fine line when you're trading away assets for, developmental guys, or TeSlaa to me just didn't seem like a dude where you're like, oh, we need him this year. Like, the Lions are a team that, in the NFL, your Super Bowl window is 1 year. Like, this is the year, and it's just we'll see what happens, but I do think that, getting rid of draft capital could be something that we look back on being like, should we have just waited and taken Jalen Noel a couple picks, 10 or 12 picks later? Maybe. Who knows?
What's on your mind, Mito? You look like you got something.
No, I just, I don't know. I think it's like Matt's been saying, it's a lot to give up, and just makes me think of the Hendon Hooker deal all over again. It's just very interesting how he moves sometimes. That's all.
You know what deal I thought of actually when we were describing it was another NFC North team took a swing in their Super Bowl window for a developmental player who didn't arrive until years later with Jordan Love. When
it's not the same. It's literally not the same.
You had a glaring need that your MVP quarterback needed to be successful, and you forwent for something.
It's definitely not for when.
But you just ignored that and took a quarterback that didn't start until 3 or 4 years later. So whatever. I thought I'd bring that up because I thought it was kind of similar to that. Because we do have other needs that in our Super Bowl window, on defense especially, could have helped, right? If you're giving up that draft capital. That would be my only criticism of the pick. He could be a great player. But if you're going to give up that kind of capital, go get someone who's going to help you from day one.
Yeah, I think just the difference there is, doing stuff for a quarterback is different than doing stuff for any other position. Like hitting a quarterback makes sure nothing else matters. Also, I don't think they gave up any assets to pick Jordan Love. I think they just standed put and just drafted him. So
our vocabulary is
stayed put.
There you go. Our vocabulary is going to get there.
You guys are embarrassing us.
Wasn't Jordan Love a trade up though? Am I mistaken?
He was, but it wasn't anything crazy. Like, Aaron Rodgers was on the back end of his career. He happened to win. He happened to win MVPs. The guy played with retirement for those 2 years prior. It's not the same. Are we really comparing this electric car to Jordan Love?
It was a little similar. That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
All right.